You are tuned into a special player spotlight interview on the CS Podcast. Welcome to another edition of the CS Podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. I'm your guys' host, Chris Shanafelt, and joining the show now for a special player spotlight interview is the standout running back out of Fordam University. He's only a sophomore, but I'm sure he's already on NFL team radars. He's Chase Edmonds. And Chase, thanks for taking some time this afternoon. As you know, yesterday the FCS playoff brackets were released, and in the first round, you guys will be hosting Chattanooga, and the winner of that game will be taking on the number one ranked team in the nation, Jacksonville State. What was your reaction? What was the team's reaction to seeing the playoff bracket yesterday, and how do you feel about Chattanooga being public enemy number one?
It was a great reaction, and the team was really excited. Just it's the third year now that Coach Moore has got us back in the playoffs. And it was just very energetic, and me personally, I'm very excited. I'm a competitor, and to be able to compete against Chattanooga, one of the better teams in the country, and they had the opportunity. If we went to play the number one team in the country, Jacksonville State, I just love that opportunity. I'm hungry for it, and I just can't wait to get to the game.
Well, Chase, heading into this season, again, as a sophomore, you're already touted as arguably the top running back in the FCS. Last year, as a freshman, you set school records by running for over 1,800 yards and 23 touchdowns. You were named the 2014 CFPA National Rookie of the Year. You were a consensus All-American and won the Jerry Rice Award, which is given to the best freshman in all of the FCS. Coming off of that incredible season, what were both your individual and team expectations for this season?
Team expectations were just to, make it a reloading year, not a rebuilding year. We lost a lot of production. Mm-hmm. We lost 18 starters on both sides of the ball. There was probably a lot of doubters that were just doubting us to see if we could really keep up the production that we've been having. And that was the first and foremost goal. I feel like the offense, we still got some work to do. We're a very young offense, though. We only have one senior on the offense. But as a team, we did much better than I know teams around the country expected us to do. I think the number one thing that we need to improve on, though, is just developing our assassin mentality type of deal. We had a couple games where we were up in 2 possessions, could have made it a 3-possession game by scoring or getting a defensive stop, and we just never really smelled the blood and really acted upon it and closed up the game. We always just let our opponents keep that belief that they can keep playing with us, and I think that's the number one thing that we got to take to Chattanooga. Is that when you play a top team in the country, basically the margin of error is just so small, and you really can't make those mistakes that you make against regular Patriot League teams. And individually, it was just I wanted to come back in and be a leader for this team and basically provide a spark every single game in and out, and just make sure that we stayed on top of what we had to do.
Well, Chase, you mentioned it. I mean, I do think there were some people that didn't expect you guys to have the year that you guys ended up having, seeing as you guys lost a ton of talent. 18 total starters from a year ago are no longer a part of the team. It's safe to say that you guys have had quite a few guys step up this season. I mean, quarterback Mike Niebrick, gone. Tight end Dan Light, gone. And 3 wide receivers who all had over 1,000 yards receiving and combined for 26 touchdowns a year ago, gone. How would you say this offense compares to last year's?
This offense is definitely a little more experienced to last year. Last year's, you could just tell, during practice, it was kind of more, it wasn't a walkthrough because we always went full speed, but everybody was on the same page. Everybody was clicking, to have such an experienced offense last year. It wasn't really much coaching that had to go on. It was just kind of a eye contact type of deal, a head nod, and, we know what we were doing. This year it's more of, I feel like we have more of a family bond just because we rely on each other because we're so inexperienced, and we know that it's kind of like us against the world type of mentality. But I feel like we're definitely a lot more explosive offense. We have a lot more weapons. These young receivers we have, Corey Cattle, Austin Longy. I think Jordan Allen might be the fastest receiver in the FCS country. And Jonathan Lumley. We just have so many young receivers that can make plays. And our quarterback, Kevin Anderson, he just added in another dimension because last year, Mike Niebrick, he couldn't run towards the end. He was a little banged up with his legs. And Kevin really adds in that extra dimension of just forcing the defense to account for his legs. And that makes it so much more diverse.
Well, although you guys lost a lot of playmakers entering this season, Chase, guys have stepped up, but there's no doubt that you've been the main focal point to this team's offense for a second straight year. Every team you've gone against, I can guarantee you are on their scouting report. And even though teams know about Chase Edmonds week in and week out, you're still able to run for over 1,600 yards and 20 touchdowns. And in the receiving game, you accounted for over 380 yards and 5 more scores. Obviously, the season is not over yet for you guys, but how would you compare your sophomore year to your freshman year as you get set for another playoff appearance?
My sophomore year, my freshman year, it was definitely a blessing. It was a great experience. I really would like to open up my game on the receiving game. I feel like, as time goes on, as my career goes on, obviously, I'm probably going to be on team scouting reports, and I just like to get the ball in open field a little bit, and instead of always going up against, a 7-8 man box. But, it's such a learning experience. I really had to become more of a leader this year. Last year with so many seniors, I really just stayed in the back of the huddle and just let them do the talking. This year, I had to step up a little bit and be a vocal leader. So that's just one thing that was really a new experience for me.
Again, he's Chase Edmonds, the Fordam Rams standout running back, joining me here on the CS podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. And Chase, about 3 weeks, maybe a month ago, against Lehigh, you had yourself a career day as you ran for 347 yards, 3 touchdowns, and on the receiving end, you reeled in 2 receptions for 55 more yards and 2 more scores. Talk to us about that game. I mean, did you have something for breakfast that you don't usually eat? I mean, how were you able to pile up over 400 yards of offense and 5 touchdowns that day? I mean, that's something you don't usually see.
Right. I don't think it was really nothing out of the ordinary. It's just kind of the way the game unfolded. The first half, it was actually like just regular normal game. We were executing on offense, and I think that, when you continue just to go in the run game, you get those 7-yard games, those 6-yard games, and then you just have a run that can, bust for 60 and bust for 70. And that's kind of just what happened in the second half. And, unfortunately, my line did a great job of blocking, and it just ended up, with the stats that happened that game. But, it was definitely a great experience to have that type of game, and it gave us a lot of confidence in the run game just to know that, if we really run the ball efficiently, we have so much of a better day of offense. Sets up the big shots on the play, on the pass game, and it really just keeps the momentum and the flow and keeps our tempo up as well.
Well, Chase, I don't think that there's any doubt that you're in the conversation for the Walter Payton Award, which goes to the best offensive player in the FCS. Some other names that come to mind that I think are also in that conversation are Illinois State running back Marshawn Coppridge and Lamar running back Cade Harrington. I'll be pretty surprised if a running back doesn't walk away with that award, although I do think Eastern Washington wide receiver Cooper Kupp is also in that discussion. What would winning that award, the Walter Payton Award, mean to you?
Right, that would just mean so much to me, it'd be such a blessing just to see that my hard work is paying off, and I'm just, regardless of what happens, I'm happy to be in the situation that I am, and it's really unique this year, because, Walter Payton Award was always known as a quarterback award, and this year, running back stepped up, and it's for sure probably going to go to a running back, and even the wide receiver Cooper Kupp, who had such a great year at Eastern Washington, a great career down there.
Absolutely. Well, hey, final question for you, Chase. The Fordam Rams finished 9-2, same record as last year. But I know that you expect to make a deeper run in the playoffs this time around. But we do have to take it one game at a time. What do you feel you guys as a team need to do in order to defeat Chattanooga this weekend, in order to advance to take on the number 1 team in the nation, Jacksonville State, next weekend? I mean, I know we're still early in the week. I don't know how much you guys have prepared or watched Chattanooga. But as a team, is there anything specific that you feel you guys need to get better at?
I don't think so much as a team. I just think that, we got to continue doing the things and the things that Coach Moorhead always harps on. I feel like we're going to have to keep our tempo up, keep our tempo high, keep them on their heels, and, establish the line of scrimmage. And in these type of games where you have the top 24 teams left in the country playing for the championship, it's all about who wins up front. And I feel like if we can win the battles up front, then we'll have a good shot at, winning the game. And it's really that simple, honestly. Football is one between the trenches in my mind.
And, of course, all 24 teams are there for a reason. I don't think there's a single team that you should overlook in the FCS. They're all good if they made it this far. And, Chase, like I said, that's all I have for you today. I really do appreciate your time, man, and I'm wishing you and your team all the best this weekend as you look to make a run in the playoffs.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.